try to have something for you to kind of review. Little games and stuff like that, although there's a lot of us, so I'll have to start making more games. So maybe on the table or something like that. Okay, so we're going to kind of review from last week in case you weren't here. Or, I don't know, I'm a teacher, so I always feel like review is good. So I'm going to show everybody. Nobody's saying anything yet. Alright, what is this? That.
Everyone has two things.
Alright, without the dot, it is that. Okay, what is the dot called? Does anybody remember? A doggette. The doggette makes the sound hard. So that, and most all of the words, in the book, if it starts with that letter, that's what it sounds like. So vet starts with the V, so it's the. That starts with a V, so it's the or B. Okay. So we would transliterate it with a V and with a B. B is harder than V, right? Okay. It's hard to hear that, but that's right. So, and we're going to do another one today, but it doesn't have a doggish. But sometimes in Hebrew, there's two letters that look similar, but they have some little something different that makes them sound different. Okay? We did that. Then we did this one. Don't say, just kind of let everybody kind of think. Everybody see it? What is this? Dalet. What does Dalet start with? D. So this, you would transliterate this with a D, and it's got a D sound. Alright. This one, wait, everybody look. Okay, what is it? Resh. And it kind of has a flip, right? Resh. It's really in the back of the throat, but trust me, to start with, you don't have to flip it, okay? If you just start with the, resh starts with a what? R, so it's an R sound. Now, last week, we looked at both of these, and we realized that especially when they're little, it's hard to tell the difference, right? There's only a little bit of difference. The Dalet has a little back part, okay, where the resh is smooth on the side. All right. Then we learned some vowels, because remember we said last week that all of the consonants, there are no vowels in the Hebrew alphabet. There aren't any vowels. So the vowels come from what they call nikudot. So each one of these is a nikud, plural is nikudot. Okay? You don't have to really remember the names of these in order to read and in order to pronounce them. So some people teach it, some people don't, but then some people want to go on. I've had students who wanted to go on to seminary, and so I'm going to tell you what they are. If you want to remember, fine, but you do not have to remember the names of them in order to read and to speak. So this one here, let's look at this one here. It looks like a little T. It's going to be underneath the letter. And what sound does it make? Anybody remember the name? Hamas. Good. Awesome. Okay. Here's another one. This is just a little line underneath, and it has what sound? And it's the top. The ka-mats and pa-tak have the in it. Okay? So, whoops. Okay, here's the word in case you want to see it. Pa, see it has an in it. So it kind of says what it is. And they look like this. These both have the sound. And if you were transliterating it, what letter would you use? A. So it's sort of like the Spanish vowels, and E, O, U. Okay, so that's basically what we're going to do. Then we have one that's two little dots. What's that say? E-H. And it's a sere. So the S sound here again is in the word, okay? So if you want to remember, that's great. Like I said, this is not, I'm not trying to over tell you things. When I first started, I had a hard time remembering the names of the vowels. But so you don't have to remember that. In fact, I took a, sorry, my allergies are really. I took a beginning class from the Hebrew University in Israel, and the whole class, not one time did they ever say kamak, batak, dagish, even they didn't say it one time. So, of course, they were teaching conversational and reading. All right, now we're going to look at the cursive. Okay. We haven't done the 3 yet. So we're going to do the cursive because how do they write in Israel? What do they use? Cursive. And I forgot to bring my book, but next week I'll bring it. And I wanted to bring a book and show you that if you plan on going on after this class, a lot of conversational books will use cursive. So I just want you to know it. Who knows what you're going to do when you're finished? You're going to be like, oh, wow, this is real good. If you go to seminary, they probably will write in block. I did have one of my students go to the King's University, and so he wrote all of his answers in cursive, and the teacher couldn't even read it. So, okay. So we're going to look at the letters. What does the bet look like?
It's a house.
No. I said last week what I thought it looked like.
Dinosaur head.
There you go, a dinosaur head. There you go.
That's a chicken head.
A chicken head. Okay. This is a bet because
Or blind chicken.
blind chicken. That's right. That's a bet. But when I put an eye in the dinosaur, then that's a
Although
bet.
you wouldn't put it exactly there. You put it a little lower.
You can put it anywhere you want it.
Is it a pointy or is it round at the bottom?
It's round. Did everybody? I do have some extra. Okay. If you did not get the sheets last week, then I'll give them to you. So the top one is bet because that's a doggish, and the bottom one is bet because it does not have a doggish. Now, resh looks just like resh. So some of the letters that you're going to do, the cursive looks just like it.
Yeah, that looks close enough.
Yeah, that's close enough. But the Dalit, what does it look like to you? A pigtail. To me, it's kind of like a screw. Like that.
Screwy. It's just screwy.
So, bet, resh, and Dalit. Those were the 4 letters that we learned last week. Okay. Give me one of those. Now, let's look and see if you did your 5 words correctly. Did everybody get a chance to at least try it? Whoops, sorry. Okay. Let's have a volunteer. Who wants to read the first one on the right? We're going to go right to left. Any volunteers? Okay. Barab. Good. Very good. Barab.
What does the word mean?
Not all these have meaning.
Some of these aren't even words. They're
Yeah.
just exercise.
So- We have the be and the be. We have the resh and the batak. Ra. The. Okay. So be is B. E. R. A. B. Barab. And where do you emphasize Hebrew? Which syllable?
Second.
Second syllable. Second syllable. Barab. Yes, today I was listening to someone, and they're Messianic, and I don't know why it just like kind of gets on my, it was like Yahshua. Well, no, he would have been Yahshua because he emphasized the second letter.
Yeah,
But I do hear people saying
Shechem sounds
Yahshua.
very Shechem. I don't know.
So, Anyway, there's Barak, and this is how you would transliterate it. Yes.
Do we know that the second syllable rule went all the way back since Hebrew was lost?
No, we don't. All I know is what they do.
I think
It's
I think
true
the
in
argument
Russian, so
for-
it must be.
The argument for Yahshua is that Yasmin and God would therefore be
Well, maybe. Okay, say it out. I mean, it just, to me, it was like, I don't know. Okay, second one. Who wants to try it? Barad. Yes, this does have a meaning. Now, on when you get after this week, the next week we are going to start having vocabulary. Now, here's the thing about the vocabulary. I'm not going to make you learn the vocabulary. If you want to, that's great, and we'll kind of do some for sure that we use all the time. But mainly this class we're learning to read, we're learning the vowels, and we're learning to write. Okay? So if you want to do some vocabulary, that's extra too. All right, the rod. That's how you would write it in cursive. So you have the b, the d.
But if it were like typed and blocked,
You can put it in block. Rod, lightning. Now, remember, you know how many syllables by what? How many vowels you have? So you have two vowels, so you're going to have two syllables. Ba, rod. Because this doesn't have a syllable, you're not going to say something. That's consistent. Yeah. Well, right now, when you get to the schwa, okay, we'll get there. You don't want to, I don't try to give you too much at one time. All right. Remember the third one. Beret. Beret. Again. Again. Beret. 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 What's the next one? Reva. Red. Ba. Red. Ba. Okay? Is it getting a little easier? All right, last one. Da bet. Da bet. Da bet. Bet. Okay. Any other questions on this? All right, remember last week we went around and we said ani. Ani. What does ani mean? I. I. And they have no word for am or is. So when I say ani Sue, what am I saying? I am Sue. Ani just means I am. I am Sue. Ani Sue. So we're going to add something, and then you guys can do little tables here, little groups, because I think it'll take us too long to do everybody. But now, if I want to say, I'm Sue, who are you? In Hebrew, they have masculine and they have feminine. Okay? And ata is you masculine. Second person, masculine singular. Act is you feminine, second person feminine singular, if you see that. Okay? So the word me, because when you transliterate, an I is an E sound, right? So me is who. So if I said to you, miat, what would I be saying? Who are you? Ani su miat. Mi su miata. Because he's a guy. Okay? So we'll start here on your table. Start here on your table. Just go down. Say your name to the person next to you. And then ask them who they are. And then they say, me. Who are you? Does that make sense? You guys in the back, want to do that? And this table over here? Okay, good. So we got a little bit of conversation. We're not going to do a whole lot each time, but we'll add to it. Next week, we might say, really, it's kind of, we're going to use kind of the slang because the formal how are you is a little complicated, but the how are you up or what's up or, you know, the more conversational one is easier. Okay, so if you want to write this down, or it's on the back of your conversation page. On the back of your conversation page, it has all the pronouns. So, right.
What you gave us last week?
Yes.
Okay.
It has all the pronouns on the back. Right now, we've just done a me, which is I, a ta, and I. Yes. I may not have enough, but I can bring some more next week. All right, you ready to go to a new letter? All right, get your book. It's on page 12. Huh? Lesson 3. So we're going to try to do lesson 3 and 4 today, because if we do, then we have a word that we can say, right? Okay, yeah, one that we know. All right, the letter that we're going to do today, it's a letter that is written the same way, but what do you notice the difference in the two letters? It's not really a doggish, because the doggish is usually in the middle. It is just a dot, okay?
It's a dot.
Yeah, it's just a dot, okay? One dot is on the right side, and one dot is on the left side, okay? So, the one that's on the right side is the sheen. The sheen. Does anybody else know where you see the sheen?
In the name.
Yeah, the mezuzah. On the mezuzah. Okay, and this is
The mountain ranges of Israel and Jerusalem.
yes, over Israel. Yeah, they say Jerusalem. Over Jerusalem, the mountains form a sheen, which stands for I don't know. Okay, and this is seen. So you have all right. This one is shh. Shh. So this one with the dot on the right is a shh sound. So you would see it's right here. You just transliterate it as H. This one is just a S sound. Okay? You ready to see the cursive? It's not hard. It's an E, yeah. So I'll have to admit that for a long time I wrote it incorrectly, but I don't think it really matters because it's sort of like I'm trying to teach my granddaughter how to write. She's 4 years old, and she wants to do things bottom up. But it still looks the same, so I keep telling her how wonderful she is. So it's an E. You're really supposed to start from the bottom up, but you can go from the top down.
Oh, so you're supposed to start.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's supposed to go from bottom up. And which side is the sheen dot on? The right. The scene is on the left.
Okay, that just looks really
Are all the letters bottom up?
No. But here again, I gave you that piece of paper. If you weren't here last week, I'm gonna have to copy some more.
So, in cursive, they do cursive like we do, where it's all connected.
No, they're
So why do
perfect.
they do that?
It's just easier to write. I mean, look at this letter. How easy is it to write this E? Very easy. But if you want to write the long way, that's what time it is. So, no, they don't connect the letters, but the letters are just easier to learn.
Just use pronoun here.
Tell me, is the same first and chain
When you say the alphabet,
yeah.
when you say the alphabet, they usually say she, seen, but it doesn't really matter. Alright, we are not learning a new vowel this week, so we should already know our vowels, correct? So, since we have such a large group, I do want to do some reading. And I want everybody to have a chance. So, we'll just do one table at a time. Is that okay? Alright, we're on page 13. I don't know if we need to do, well, let's do the simple one. Let's go back to 12. But let's start on line 4. Okay? Yes, oh, can I show them this? This is the paper. We start on line 4, so you'll have to listen and you'll have to speak up pretty loud. So you want to start here on line 4? Sa. Okay, next one. Sa. Next one. Third one. Sa. Next one. Se. Next one. Here. You want to read it? No? Are you sure? Oh, okay. Good table. Alright, let's go over here, line 5. Now let's go to line 6. Let's make it a little harder. Line 6, number 1. Sha. Next one. Shush is actually a word in 6. So, shesh. Remember, how many syllables does it have? 1, because there's only 1 vowel. Okay, you want to try the next one? Good, so say. And the last one there? Saz. Good. Alright, 7. Let's try here. Okay. Now, you want to try it? Line 7, just the first one.
That would be
Sha. Good. Awesome. Okay, next.
that would be
It's not a guess if you get it right. Okay. Sha. Sa. Next one. The third one on 7. Say. Next one. Want to do one? Last one on 7. Sachet. That's an English word, isn't it? Line 8. Shabbat. Next one. Sarah. Okay, Sarah. Next one. Shaddai. Almost like Shaddai. And the last one. Shabbat. Alright. You in the back, are you ready to try or you want to wait? Alright, you can wait. You don't have to. Alright, line 10. We're not doing 9? No, we're going to do 10 because we're going to go on to another letter. Alright, who wants to do the first one? I'm gonna take volunteers on this one. Okay. Basar, that's me. Basar. Who wants to do the next one? Okay. Darash. Third one, who wants to volunteer? Shabar. And the last one? Yes. Two syllables, even though there's 3 letters, because it's only got 2 vowels. Sarad. Okay, good. Alright, there's stuff in here for you to do. You can do it at home. Lesson 4, this is the last one for today. Alright, this is a letter, Tav. Now, you see in your book, there is a doggish in one and not in another one. So this is really interesting.
Depends on if you're asking that much.
You don't really see the doggish in the Tav anymore, but I'll tell you where you see it. Okay? So, have you ever seen this? Beth Torah. Beth Torah. So, a lot of people think that without the doggish, it's a soft sound. But they don't do that much anymore. Okay, pretty much it's almost all a T. But that's how they get Beth Torah instead of Bet, because when you see it written, it'll be like this. Okay, but you'll see Beth instead of Bet. Okay.
But if it has the dot, it's a hard T.
Yeah, technically that's what it's supposed to be. The hard T. But here again, when you transliterate it, just always transliterate it with a T. And when you pronounce it, it's always pronounced with a T.
The Sephardic one. Hello.
The Sephardics win, yes, you did. Alright, here again, we're not going to do any new vowels. Oh, yes, I'm going to do the cursive. But all on lesson 4 in that box, it tells you everything you've done so far. Yes, you have cursive? Okay, so we've done 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 letters as of today. So Tav the cursive kind of looks the same. However, I've been getting some stuff from Israel, and the way they write their T's on their products is kind of weird. I want to show you. But, so that is Tav. So it kind of looks like it, right? It kind of like, you kind of do a resh, and then you just make a little J, like a little foot. Now, like I said, people get lazy. I think this is a lazy way. But I started getting things from Israel, like products and stuff, and I'm like, what in the world is that letter? I've never seen it before. So I asked one of my Israeli friends. It looks like this.
What? What to do?
That's it. That's the top.
Oh my goodness.
I'll have to bring you some of my Haroset, because it has it in cursive, I think. And
Somebody's writing that left hand.
for a long time, I'm like, I get most of these letters, but I don't know. But if you see it, I guess it's the lazy man's way.
Tell me, is the first vowel.
Honestly, I don't know the history. I don't like history, so I don't really look it up. I mean, I have 70 years of history I have to remember just for me. All right, so let's see if we're going to start at this table. Let's see how well we can read. On page 19, let's just skip the top T and all that sort of stuff. All right, number 5. So listen up if you can. The first one is but. But. Okay. Next one. Dot. The next one. Text. Do you want to do the last one? Shot. So some of you, I know in all my classes before, some people like to transliterate it just to make sure they're pronouncing it correctly. So you have a she, okay, and what's the vowel underneath it? Ah, and then what's the letter? T. Shot. Shot. So if you transliterate it, you put S-H-A-T. It only has one syllable because it only has one vowel. Yes.
You're saying always use the T, but if you're using the other method, the third one would be thought. Correct?
Well, it's sort of like the word Seth. Seth, and when you look at it, it just has the top. It doesn't have the dogish in there, so that's why they put the TH instead of just the T for Seth.
But they've gotten lazy with some words.
Yes.
And have just made it all.
Yes.
Basically, they've gotten lazy and dropped the little T.
Just like us in English, right? So,
Yeah.
But if we were using the other form, the third one would be that.
If we were using the original, yes.
the third one
The third one on line 5
would be
that.
Teth. Yeah, T-E-T-H. T-E-T-H, yeah. Teth. Because without the dot, it would be T-H. But we're not going to do it because they pronounce it Tet.
That. I said
Tet.
backwards. I said that. It's
Yes.
that.
Yeah, so question. So they both make
They both make the T sound. We're not going to differentiate between the T and
so
the
we
T.
can either.
Just the T. Just the T. I'm just explaining how they used to use the dogish form and how you get the word Beth. Because I always wanted, like, my congregation I came from was Beit Sar Shalom. But when they put it in English, it's Beth. Okay, so that's Sar Shalom, and so I'm like, I know now where they got it because it didn't have the dogish in it. Okay, we did line 5. Let's see. You want to start here? Line 6, number 1. Isha.
Where are you? I'm sorry.
6. Tisha. Very good. Next. You got it? 2.
Tiva.
Tava. Next. Tavat. Line 7.
Is that Shabbat or Shabbat?
Shabbat. Shabbat. Okay, one thing about Shabbat that you probably, if you don't have this question in your mind, you probably are like, will have it. So Shabbat. Okay. Normally, the bet is at the beginning. I can't even think of a word where the bet is at the beginning. So normally, the hard sound is at the beginning of the word. When the hard sound is in the middle of the word, a lot of times they will make this into two two syllables. Shab, and that's how we get the double B's in Shabbat.
Oh, okay, but there's only one in it.
Because this has a dogish. So you and I would transliterate it probably like this, but you're not going to see it like that because you have the dogish in the middle. It's sort of like doubling it up. Did you have a question?
No, I'm not.
Shabbat. Shabbat. Because it's a hard sound, it's kind of a double sound. Any questions on that? I just thought that was interesting because I always wondered why they have two B's if that's not how I transliterate. Okay, next. After Shabbat. The second one. Shabbat. Okay, good. Sharet. Sharet. Yeah, it's hard to see the difference between the resh and the dal. Okay, you want to do the next one? Michael?
Right. Right. Top. Right. Top.
Ra. Rata.
Right. Top.
Ratat. 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 Okay, 8. All right, we're going to start with you. Go this way. 8. Uh-huh.
That means word.
Davar. Very good. Next one. That's an R. R. That's an R. Remember,
That's a city in the Philippines.
Rabat. Very good. Rabat. Next one. Barad. And here we got Barad again. Next one. Daber. Daber. Okay. Shar. No, we're going this way.
Oh, okay. Oh, okay.
It says here. Sorry.
Don't.
Oh, yes. The next one's no, that's not it. Bog. Couldn't get his bog right.
I'm working on getting my five.
Okay. So I've got some homework for you. Aren't you excited? I don't know if I have enough, but. So take one for family to start with, and then we'll see if I have enough. So on this practice, I actually wrote in cursive what the letter was. So we're going to practice. So all you do is you just write down here your letters. If you want to do it over and over again, put it in a sheet like this. He did all of his pages. Put it in a sheet like this, and then you put it right with your dry erase marker, and then you can keep erasing it. Okay?
Not a regular marker, one erase.
Yeah.
Dry.
Okay, and so then here are the 3 vowel sounds and how you spell them, what they are. If you want to learn them, that's fine. Otherwise, just you need to learn what the sound is and what letter you use to transliterate. And then the bottom there, the first column you put your transliteration. So I did it for you, bebe. And then if you want to write your cursive, you can. So this is kind of cursive practice, regular practice. And I have another one, of course. Now, guys, I give you a lot of homework because I'm a teacher. But you do what you want to do. That's not a grade, okay? So. But I found, I'm a math teacher, and I tell my kids, look, I can stand up here all day and tell you, and you go, oh, that's easy. But unless you go home and do it by yourself, you'll never really get it into you, so it is easy for you. Right, so try to practice it every now and then. You know, maybe give yourself 30 minutes a week or 10 minutes a day, or, you know, come up with something. But now we have a word, and next week we're going to start doing a little bit of vocabulary. And next week, I'm going to give you, this is for next week, not this week. We're going to talk about Shabbat, and I'm going to give you some of the blessings. This is the blessing over the candle, the Jewish one, and there's a Messianic one. So if you want to learn those, you won't be able to read them all yet, but I think I'll have to look and see. I don't know if I put it on Google Classroom or not. All right, any questions? I've had fun. You had fun? Okay, y'all are good. Y'all are doing great.